Picture this. You're standing next to a $500,000 tractor. Dead. Error code flashing. You pop the hood. Loose connection on a $50 sensor. 5-minute fix. You've got the part, the wrench, the experience. You rebuilt a transmission at 19. But when you try to clear the code, the system locks you out. Access denied. Why? Because John Deere owns the software. Only authorized dealers can touch it. Dealers 60 miles away, booked 2 weeks out, will charge $1,200 for a 30-second laptop click. Meanwhile, harvest season. Every day that machine sits idle costs you thousands. Your crops are ready, weather's turning, and you're forbidden from fixing your own equipment? Yeah, you heard that right. Welcome to modern farming. Let's dissect how this became legal. To understand this trap, go back to the 1980s and early 1990s. Tractors were mechanical beasts. Steel, hydraulics, diesel engines you could tear down in your barn. Something broke? You grabbed a wrench. No computer science degree required. Just grease, time, and maybe a service manual from the hardware store. Farmers loved it. A well-maintained tractor ran for 30, 40 years. You passed it down to your kids. You knew every bolt, every gear, every quirk. When it died, you fixed it. Independence was built into the design. Then came the seduction. Precision agriculture. Late 1990s, early 2000s, John Deere started pitching a revolution. GPS guidance systems for perfectly straight rows. Yield monitors tracking exactly how much corn each field section produced. Sensors optimizing fuel efficiency, detecting problems before catastrophe. And honestly, it was genuinely useful. GPS eliminated overlapping passes, saved seed. Yield data helped manage fertilizer. Early systems made farming more efficient, more profitable. But here's what farmers didn't see coming. The helpful dashboard came with software, and software came with control. By the early 2000s, tractors weren't just mechanical anymore. They had CAN bus systems, computerized networks running modern cars. Engine performance, transmission, hydraulics, everything ran through embedded computers. At first, fine, diagnostics were helpful. Error codes told you what was wrong. Then the software became proprietary, locked down. By the 2000s, you couldn't access error codes without John Deere's diagnostic software. Equipment still looked like a tractor, but legally it started behaving like an iPhone. Farmers didn't buy software, they bought tractors. But John Deere quietly redefined the deal. You own the metal, we own the code. And the code controls the metal. Think about what that means. You pay $500,000 for a machine, it sits in your barn, your name's on the title, but you don't actually control it. Not fully, not when it matters. This wasn't announced in a press release. This was a slow creep. Helpful technology became mandatory technology. Diagnostic tools became proprietary tools. Ownership became licensing. Farmers, busy running operations, didn't realize they'd walked into a trap until too late. The foundation was set. Now we'll see how the trap snapped shut. Here's how the trap works. Every modern John Deere tractor, combine, piece of equipment has embedded diagnostic software controlling critical systems. The engine, transmission, GPS, hydraulics, even the damn climate control in the cab. When something goes wrong, the machine throws an error code and locks itself down. You can't read that code without John Deere's proprietary software. The dealer tool is called Service Advisor, costs north of $15,000. And guess who's allowed to buy it? Only authorized John Deere dealers. You, the person who paid $500,000 for the machine, cannot access it. But here's the kicker. Even if you somehow got your hands on the software, using it would be illegal. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act, Section 1201, makes it a federal crime to bypass software locks. John Deere argues that farmers don't own the software running their tractors. They're licensing it. You bought the metal. John Deere retains the code. And the code controls everything. Let that sink in. You own a tractor, but you don't have the legal right to repair it. This isn't theoretical. Let's say you've got a faulty sensor on your planter. You diagnose the problem. It's a $50 part. You order it, install it yourself. Takes 20 minutes. The software won't recognize the new sensor. System stays locked. You need a dealer to plug in their laptop and authorize the repair. Dealer charges a $150 diagnostic fee, $300 service call, hourly labor. Total bill, around $1,200 for a repair you already completed. And it gets worse. This extends to every component. Replace a fuel injector? Software lock. Swap a hydraulic pump? Software lock. Try to modify the engine for better performance or fuel efficiency? Absolutely not. The software monitors everything and reports back to John Deere. Third-party parts? Forget it. John Deere software is programmed to reject non-OEM components. Independent manufacturers make perfectly good replacement parts at half the cost. Doesn't matter. The tractor won't accept them. This is the original sin of modern farming. John Deere didn't just build better tractors. They built a system of total control disguised as innovation. They turned ownership into dependency. They used copyright law, designed to protect artists and inventors, to create a repair monopoly worth billions. Now we'll see what this actually costs. Not in abstract legal terms, in real farms, real families, real bankruptcies. Let's look at what this costs on the ground. Kevin Kinney, a corn and soybean farmer in Nebraska, learned the hard way in October 2019. His John Deere combine broke down mid-harvest. Hydraulic sensor failure. He could see the problem, had the replacement sensor in his shop, 30-minute fix if the software would let him. It wouldn't. Nearest authorized dealer was 90 miles away. Booked solid. Peak harvest season. Every farmer in 3 counties had equipment problems. Wait time? 10 days minimum. Kevin watched his crop sit while a cold front moved in. By the time the dealer showed up, rain had damaged a significant portion of his harvest. Estimated loss? North of $60,000. For a sensor that cost $120. This isn't rare. This is normal now. During peak season, equipment downtime costs farmers between $1,000 and $3,000 per day. Every day your combine sits broken, you're bleeding money. Weather windows close, grain quality degrades, contracts get missed. The math is brutal. A repair that used to take 30 minutes in your barn now requires a dealer visit taking 2 weeks. Old days, you diagnose the problem, order the part, fix it yourself. Total downtime, maybe a day. Now, you're at the mercy of dealer schedules, parts availability, travel time. Rural areas are the worst. Not many authorized John Deere service centers. Remote farming region? Nearest dealer might be 2 hours away. They charge for travel time, mileage. Equipment stuck in the field? You're paying $500 or more just to tow it somewhere they can work on it. Parts markup is insane. Dealers charge 3 to 5 times what the same part costs from an independent supplier. Fuel filter an independent parts store sells for $40. John Deere dealer charges $180. And remember, third-party parts won't work. Software rejects them. Annual maintenance costs have jumped 200% to 300% over the past decade. Farmers who used to spend $5,000 a year keeping equipment running now spend $15,000 to $20,000. And that's if nothing major breaks. Small family farms can't absorb this. They operate on thin margins. An unexpected $30,000 repair bill can be the difference between staying in business and selling out. And plenty of them are selling. Farm consolidation is accelerating. Corporate mega farms with deep pockets can afford dealer dependency. They budget for it. They have backup equipment. Family operations running 500 or 800 acres, they don't have that luxury. One bad breakdown at the wrong time and they're done. This is how you kill an industry from the inside. Not all at once, slowly, squeezing out the people who can't afford to play the game. Let's talk about how completely absurd this system actually is. Picture this scenario. You've got a planter throwing an error code. You walk to the field, pop open the electronics housing, spot the problem immediately. Dirty sensor, dust on the connection. You've seen this 50 times. You grab a rag, wipe it clean, check the connection. Problem solved. 5 minutes. Except the tractor won't start. Software detected the error and locked the whole system down. Doesn't care that you fixed it. Needs a dealer to officially clear the code and authorize the repair. Dealer drives out. 2-hour round trip. He plugs his laptop into the diagnostic port. Clicks a button. Error code clears. 30 seconds of actual work. The bill? $150 diagnostic fee, $300 service call charge, 1 hour labor at $120. Total, $570. For a problem you already fixed. For free. You're not paying for repair work, you're paying for permission. You're paying a technician to click OK on software you're legally prohibited from accessing. Multiply that across a harvest season. 5, 6 lockouts. That's $3,000 to $4,000 in what farmers call permission fees. Money spent on literally nothing except bypassing an artificial software barrier. Here's the kicker. Most dealers don't even stock common parts. When something actually breaks, they have to order from John Deere. That adds another 3 to 5 days of waiting. Remote diagnostics exist. The technology is there. A dealer could access your tractor's computer from their office, clear codes, authorize repairs without driving out. But guess what? Most dealers resist using remote systems. Why? They lose the service call fees. You're paying for inefficiency built into the business model. The system is designed to be slow, expensive, dealer-dependent. That's not a bug, that's the feature. Farmers are stuck paying for a Rube Goldberg machine of artificial complexity wrapped around repairs they used to handle in their sleep. This isn't capitalism. This is extortion dressed up as intellectual property protection. But farmers aren't known for taking things lying down. Time to meet the resistance. Farmers aren't known for giving up easily. When the legal system locks you out of your own equipment, you find another way. Enter the underground repair network. Farmers started buying hacked diagnostic software from Eastern Europe. Ukrainian and Polish programmers cracked John Deere's proprietary systems, sold the tools online for $300 to $500. Compare that to the $15,000 official dealer software. The choice was obvious. YouTube became an education platform. Videos showing how to bypass software locks, install third-party sensors, clear error codes without dealer authorization. Farmers who'd never touched a computer beyond email were learning to hack million-dollar machines in their barns. The risks? Massive. Using cracked software voids your warranty. Under the DMCA, bypassing software locks is technically a federal crime. Farmers could face legal action from John Deere. But here's what John Deere didn't count on. Farmers were willing to take that risk. When the choice is between potential legal trouble and certain bankruptcy, you pick the chance to stay in business. As one Nebraska farmer put it, "I'd rather be a criminal than lose the farm my grandfather built." The resistance went beyond individual workarounds. Farmers organized. Right-to-repair coalitions formed across farm states. Farmers teamed up with independent mechanics, consumer advocacy groups, small electronics repair shops. They all faced the same problem. Manufacturers using software locks to monopolize repair. They took the fight to state legislatures. Montana introduced a right-to-repair bill in 2019. Colorado followed in 2021. Nebraska, Kansas, Wyoming. The argument was simple. If you paid for it, you own it. Software shouldn't change that fundamental principle. Gay Gordon Byrne, executive director of the Repair Association, became a leading voice. She testified before state legislatures, explaining how software locks were creating repair monopolies across industries. Farmers provided the most compelling testimony. These weren't tech activists. These were people who'd worked the same land for generations, explaining how they couldn't fix their own equipment anymore. The movement gained momentum. Press coverage increased. The narrative shifted. John Deere went from innovation leader to villain in farmer communities. But John Deere wasn't about to let a grassroots movement destroy a multi-billion-dollar revenue stream. Time to call in the lawyers and lobbyists. Enter the corporate lawyers and lobbyists. John Deere wasn't about to let farmers destroy a revenue stream worth billions. The company spends millions annually lobbying at state and federal levels. When right-to-repair bills started popping up in farm state legislatures, John Deere mobilized. Their arguments? Safety, intellectual property, cybersecurity. John Deere's official position: if farmers can modify software, they'll disable emissions controls and create environmental disasters. They'll steal proprietary technology. They'll open equipment to hacking and create safety hazards. Translation: we'll lose our repair monopoly, and that terrifies us. The company sent legal threats to farmers caught using hacked diagnostic tools, cease and desist letters citing DMCA violations. The message was clear: we will prosecute you for fixing your own equipment. John Deere didn't fight alone. Dealer associations joined the battle. Makes sense. Dealers profit directly from the repair monopoly. Why would they support legislation that kills their service revenue? The Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association, representing the entire industry, deployed coordinated lobbying campaigns. This wasn't just John Deere's fight. Every manufacturer using software locks had skin in the game. Their propaganda was beautiful. Sophisticated modern equipment requires trained technicians with specialized knowledge. Farmers lack the expertise to safely repair complex computerized systems. Let that sink in. Farmers who've rebuilt diesel engines blindfolded, who diagnose hydraulic problems by sound, who can tear down and reassemble a transmission in a barn with a Coleman lantern, are being told they're too stupid to plug in a laptop and clear an error code. Here's the irony. These are people who've spent entire lives repairing machinery more complex than most technicians will ever touch. They understand physics, mechanics, electronics. They have to. Their livelihoods depend on it. But according to John Deere, they lack the sophistication to press a button that says clear code. Every state bill got swarmed. Lobbyists descended on state capitals. The playbook was consistent. Delay, water down, create loopholes big enough to drive a tractor through. So here we are. Farmers who can rebuild an engine blindfolded are told they're too dumb to access software they paid for. Let's see where this absurd fight stands today. It's late 2025. Where do we stand? The scorecard is mixed. Some wins, many losses, a patchwork of half measures. In July 2021, President Biden signed an executive order directing the Federal Trade Commission to crack down on manufacturers who restrict repairs. It was a signal. The right to repair movement had reached the White House. State legislatures started passing laws. Colorado in 2023, New York in 2023, Minnesota in 2024. These were genuine victories, forcing manufacturers to provide diagnostic tools and repair manuals to independent shops and equipment owners. But here's the reality check. Most laws have loopholes you could drive a combine through. They often exempt agricultural equipment. They're written so vaguely that enforcement is nearly impossible. They only apply to equipment sold after certain dates, grandfathering in existing monopolies. Federal right to repair legislation? Stalled. Industry lobbying is too entrenched. Bills keep getting introduced. They keep dying in committee. Public pressure forced some manufacturers to make concessions. John Deere announced in 2023 that it would provide farmers with access to diagnostic tools and repair manuals through a dealer portal. Sounds good, right? Except the portal access isn't cheap. The tools are still limited. Farmers are still locked into the dealer ecosystem for anything serious. It's a PR move dressed up as a solution. Farmers are still hacking their equipment, still buying gray market diagnostic software, still risking warranties and legal threats just to fix what they own. The fight continues. More states are considering right to repair bills in 2025 and 2026. The momentum is building, slowly, against massive corporate resistance. Globally, things are moving faster. The European Union is implementing strong right-to-repair regulations that could force manufacturers to change their entire business model. But the US? We're dragging our feet while corporations fight every inch. The war isn't over. Progress is incremental, frustrating, incomplete. But awareness is growing. Coalitions are expanding. The pressure is mounting. This isn't just about tractors anymore. This is about something much bigger. Let's zoom out. Here's what the John Deere war is really about. It's not just tractors. It's the future of ownership itself in a digital world. This pattern is everywhere. Your car, your phone, your refrigerator, your medical devices. Manufacturers across every industry are moving toward the same model. Sell you hardware, control it through software, monetize your dependency forever. Apple fights repair shops trying to fix iPhones. Tesla locks down their vehicles so independent mechanics can't service them. Medical equipment manufacturers use software locks to force hospitals into service contracts. The same playbook. Hardware plus proprietary software equals perpetual revenue stream. Think about what's happening. You buy a product. You own the physical object, but the manufacturer retains control through code. They decide when you can repair it, who can repair it, how much that repair costs. This is a fundamental redefinition of ownership, a shift from you bought it, you own it, to you bought it, but we license you the right to use it under our terms. The economic model is changing. Ownership is becoming perpetual licensing with built-in rent seeking. Every repair is another revenue opportunity. Every software update is leverage. Every restriction is profit. The consumer impact is massive. Devices designed to be unrepairable. Lifespans deliberately shortened. Forced upgrades becoming the norm. When something breaks, your only option is the manufacturer's overpriced repair monopoly or a brand new device. The environmental cost? Mountains of electronic waste. Perfectly functional hardware thrown away because repair is illegal, impossible, or more expensive than replacement. Farmers are the canaries in the coal mine. They saw this trap first because farm equipment was the testing ground. They fought back first because their livelihoods depended on it. But here's the stakes. If farmers lose this fight, everyone loses. The precedent spreads. Every industry adopts the model. We all lose agency over the things we supposedly own. The lesson for the rest of us? Pay attention. Demand transparency. Support right to repair legislation in your state. Vote with your wallet when possible. This isn't a farmer problem. This is everyone's problem. And there's hope. Awareness is growing. Coalitions are forming across industries. The fight continues.